This is SolidJS,
Mother of God.
and probably it is the best option we have in web development after 15 years of UI framework exploration. Solid is rapidly growing in popularity, and despite its young age, it is a major influence in the modern front-end space. The chances are you'll end up using Solid in one of your projects in the near future, so this is as good a time as any to understand its key features and main selling points. Don't worry, despite the power, Solid is actually built on top of basic, really easy to understand concepts. Let's start by reviewing this basic component, which will give you an overview of all the cool things Solid has to offer. Then, we'll go through the architectural decisions and implementation details used to achieve these powerful reactive and rendering mechanisms. Finally, in the second part of the video, we'll build a small app where you'll see Solid's seamless dev experience in action. Okay, so all modern frameworks have three big things in common. First, they have some sort of mechanism that allows you to group code together. Most of the time, this is done via classes or function components. Second, your app will work with data. Frameworks need to monitor this data and react whenever data changes occur. Finally, this data and the associated changes have to be displayed in the DOM via some sort of templating mechanism. Solid follows the most popular route by employing function components to group code, signals to achieve reactivity, and JSX as a templating system. It is important for you to understand that this function is completely decoupled from the Solid internals. In other words, the function code will be executed only once, when Solid first evaluates the signals, events, and lifecycle hooks it needs to manage. Then, lines like these ones will not be executed ever again. Signals are a well-established software pattern used to achieve reactivity in a granular manner. Using signals on the web is not a novel concept, and they were first made popular in the front-end space by Knockout.js back in 2010. The main idea behind signals is that they can hold values while also maintaining a list of dependencies. Associated computed signals and effects will silently register themselves in this dependency array, and whenever the value inside the signal will be updated, these dependencies will rerun. The effects can either be defined by you or implicitly defined by Solid whenever a signal value is used in the JSX template. And since I'm mentioning the template, JSX is the most established templating language in front-end development. It was introduced by React and adopted by the likes of Solid, Quick, and even Vue thanks to its simplicity and expressiveness. Of course, here you can use all the expected tools to build UIs, ranging from registering event handlers to rendering list of elements. Okay, with the basics out of the way, let's quickly review the 5 Solid core features you should really be aware of. First of all, as I already mentioned, Solid is built with reactive primitives at its core. Thanks to signals and a fine-grained reactivity model, the framework can track changes at a very granular level. The result is an efficient update process that doesn't rely on dirty checking virtual DOM snapshots. So, thanks to this architecture, Solid doesn't require a virtual DOM. As a result, we gain a more efficient rendering and better performance. With no unnecessary dependencies and a highly optimized core implementation, it is no wonder Solid is both small and fast. These are key aspects in this day and age, where speed is of the essence. Most of these benefits are achieved thanks to a compilation step. SolidJS is a compiler-based framework, which means it does most of its work at compile time rather than runtime. This approach results in smaller bundle sizes and faster runtime performance, as less JavaScript needs to be shipped and executed in the browser. Finally, as you'll see in a second, Solid provides a whole collection of modern features like context, portals, suspense, streaming SSR, progressive hydration, error boundaries, and concurrent rendering. Solid is built on top of Vite, so let's run the init command with the TypeScript template to initialize a project. The context is the most common way to share state between components, but note that Solid also offers a native state management implementation to address more complex scenarios. In the context, I am adding our login state and some helper methods to easily update the authentication status. Then, using the Solid router, I am defining a dashboard and an authentication page route. Next, let's jump into the dashboard page component, where we can grab the context via the useContext hook. Solid also comes packed with lifecycle hooks, which are constructs allowing you to run code at specific points in the component lifetime. When the component is mounted, I am displaying a modal if the user is not authenticated, and I'm fetching a list of members from the server, which is then simply stored into a signal. In the JSX area, I am using the special for component to iterate and render the list of members. Please note that in JSX, it is fairly common to map object instances to DOM elements directly, but this is not going to properly work in Solid. Because it lacks a virtual DOM, the framework relies on the for construct to perform the needed internal indexing and DOM update optimizations. If the user is not logged in, we are showing a modal pointing to an authentication page. Two things of note here. First, we are using the portal component, which will add the content of our component directly in the document body. This is great when it comes to styling modal components. Also, we are using a custom directive via the use namespace. The custom directive is a function taking two arguments. Finally, in the login page, we are listening to the form submit event, performing the authentication on the server, and update the context implementation. SolidJS is a really powerful tool to have in your arsenal, and you can check out these videos to see how easy it is to integrate it in any modern tech stack. Until next time, thank you for watching.